Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Chafing Armor podcast, where we scratch your itch for fantasy role-playing. I am Dare. Tonight I am your Dungeon Master. We are here recording with our players. Michael, would you introduce yourself, please?
Absolutely. And everyone, you can support the show at Chafing Armor under Patreon. This is Michael, and I will be playing Willowand, the diminutive wood elf with some wooden horns.
And now we have Riley.
Hi, I'm Riley, and I'm playing Honey Robin, your favorite monk Plasmoid.
Great. And James.
Hey everybody, I'm James, and I am playing Xok, the Changeling Barbarian of the Feywild.
And finally, we have Izzy.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Izzy, and I will be playing Hob Silver-Slinger, who just leveled up to level 5 and has learned the secrets of guns. Well, magic guns, that is.
Magic guns. What could be better than that in our Dragon Realm setting?
Surely that won't backfire on you.
Well, did you know that dragons don't explode?
They don't?
No, but dinos might.
I wish I could come through the screen.
Anyways, so last time we had our intrepid adventurers were split up. Xok was left behind fighting cultists on the deck of the Fancy Guppy, along with Elias and Tal-Ovar, and Hob, Silver-Slinger, Willowand, Honey Robin, and Xok went down into the deep caves to find out what was going on with assistance by Cathilian Shimmerwind, one of the Draconian city guards. They fought some rather powerful sorcerers, but came out on top as they discovered a giant cave prepared for sacrifices. Cathilian, after having fought this battle, leaves the group to go back up and report to Monet, the city magistrate, and Her Majesty Queen Sculpata. Hob, Honey Robin, Willowand, what are you going to do? You are in this giant cave. You are surrounded by the remains of desiccated and dissected... you are surrounded by desiccated and dissected corpses. You all have found some various emblems indicating cult worship of some sort. What would you all like to do?
Hob wants to investigate for clues. There's two things that they are specifically interested in. The first is looking at the effects of the dead sorcerers. They do, for more selfish class advancement reasons, they're trying to pick off a rod off of these wizards, like a rod or a wand. But they also want to see if any of these guys we killed have anything like obviously the guy destroyed the orders, but if there's any anything like that. So I guess I want to roll an investigation check.
Okay. Or anybody else want to assist?
I'll assist using my nature skill to help him to help them see anything that might be in the natural world in relation to that.
Does assistance in D&D give you advantage or a plus?
It gives advantage if the other person also has proficiency in that skill.
And which skill are you using?
Investigation.
I've got a -1.
And no proficiency?
And no proficiency, so...
So that means what I rolled is a 10.
Woo! Okay, so you can't find a lot. I mean, after the fireball went off in the midst of you, killing most of them, and you all finished them off. The papers were burned up. There's not a lot left. There are a couple of belt pouches that seem to have fared okay, and there are a couple of the cult emblems around their throats and holding their cloaks together, but they seem a little odd from what you have seen before and might bear with closer investigation. But there seem to be on the two blue-robed mages, there seem to be two, each has a single pouch that seems to have fared fairly well.
Scoop.
Okay.
2 pouches.
And they're roughly the size of 2 human fists put together, so they're not small, but they are tied off with a leather cord. Seem to be very well made, and they easily cinch on a belt with a leather thong.
Well, Hob isn't one for high-string underwear, but I bet they have a belt. That was low-hanging fruit. Literally. I'll look inside if that would help the narrative.
Roll me an investigation check.
Cool.
At advantage.
Cool. Let's see. Wow, that was the same number on the die. That's after my pluses. 16.
Okay. Fairly easy for you as an artificer. You realize that somebody in the cult knows how to make bags of holding. And you now have 2 normal bags of holding, relatively common magic item.
Hot dang! Well,
You look in them and you don't see anything, but you know that if you turn them inside out, everything will pour out. It might not be best to do that here, where there are bones and skin and offal remnants on the floor, where you might drop your stuff, whatever's inside. But you have bags of holding to distribute to your team.
Let's distribute these later. I'm quite worried about staying here.
Hob holds their nose between their fingers.
Too much longer. Does anyone, I found the bags of holding. Does anyone want to, I don't know, investigate more other things? Anyone?
I don't know what else to look at here. It's stinky and gross, and I'd like to get out unless anyone else has a thought.
I'm ready to get out of here myself. I don't think I can make heads or tails of any of this ash that's left. All these are in just conditions that I don't think I'd be able to figure out. If Hob can't do it, I don't know if any of us...
I do wonder if there's anything distinct about the way they've been dissected. If there's something about why dissecting. These guys don't really seem like they're just doing it for fun. But I don't know who might be an expert in gross dissection.
We could certainly ask around.
You can look around one more time, and if Willowand or Honey Robin want to
Sure.
look right quick.
I'll do an investigation check.
And I will assist, because I have proficiency.
And I will look about knowingly. I'm going to take my bag of holding and just kind of put my quarterstaff in and out of it, just going like, woo, woo, because it's a super long thing going in. It's kind of like,
That'll be a 17.
Okay, so what you can tell is it looks like they've been taking the guts and innards of all the different people that they've sacrificed and been grinding it up, drying it out, grinding it up, and using it to make whatever noxious compound is going to be distributed as the plague serum.
Oh, well, that's disturbing. I don't think I like the sound of that.
You see the remnants of mortar and pestles. You see grindstones over to the side for bones and skin. Basically, they have been grinding up people, all the different species, to make this plague serum.
Delightful.
I don't
And
like
so-
all of this.
And so the only other thing you notice is these clasps for their cloaks survived, and they're not the same as you've seen before.
I will take
Not
one.
completely.
We'll take it.
Yeah. Let's all take one.
Okay, and so there is the cave entrance that you came in, and then there are several other smaller doors radiating out of this large round rooms, which eerily reminds you of the room that you all were first imprisoned in at the beginning of your meeting. But there
Like so
are
long ago.
about 6 exits radiating out from this room, as if this room had been carved to mirror another edifice. Where would you all like to go?
Well, I don't know if we should go deeper or not. I'm kind of nervous going without a bit of a bruiser there. I mean, you're pretty powerful yourself there, Honey Robbins. But should we maybe? I know it's fairly deep down here, but
Yes, I think it might be best to regroup with our teammate.
I like the sound of that.
should we? I don't really have anything that's applicable to, cleansing a place. I'm not really a priest or anything, but I just want everyone to know the Wild Mother thinks this place sucks.
I've got an idea. I think I'm very curious to see if I'm worried that if we leave here and come back, something might happen here that they might block it off. They might destroy the whole building and this whole entrance, or even just do something really evil in here while we're away.
Tintin, Hob's pouch kind of rustles, and their little homunculus servant comes out. A little bell with metallic wings and limbs, spindly little thing.
I want you to stay here and stand guard and report back to us if you see anything evil.
Everybody give me a survival check right quick.
All right, first roll of the night. That is a +6 for me because I live out in the woods. Oh, that is a 24.
15.
Willowand.
Dirty 20, thankfully.
Okay. The 3 of you hear sounds coming from the 6 tunnels, as if multiple things are coming towards you.
Hide, Tintin. Let's get the bollocks out of here.
I don't think Hob started as British, but they're turning British tonight.
I'm rubbing off on you.
Do we know? Can we tell if these 6 tunnels aren't the way we came? Are they?
No, there's one very large tunnel behind you where
Yeah,
you all
let's-
came in, and it was about 10 to 15 feet wide. These other tunnels, they're all doorways. They're humanoid size. They're roughly about 3 feet wide by 6.5 to 7 feet tall, carved out of the rock, and you hear sounds starting to come towards you from those various tunnels.
Yeah, let's get the hay out of here.
I'm all for that.
Okay, so you all scramble out. Do you leave behind your homunculus?
Yes.
Okay, and so you all scramble out, and we will cut to Xok on the deck of the Fancy Guppy. Xok, you are busy cleaning blood and guts off of weapons. Your great axe, where you had killed one of the centauripedes. Dozens, if not hundreds, of the lizardmen cultists surrounding your end of the airfield. Tor, Talovar, and Elias, along with the captain and Ishmael, the Minotaur first mate, held off any attacks and helped bring an end to any disturbance around you all. You could see going across this great airfield for about 2 miles to the north, where all the landing pads are. There were battles raging with the city guards going all over. And Talavar turns to you, Xok, and says, "Well fought, my little friend."
Good hunt.
It was a good hunt. Surprising when the prey comes to you, isn't it?
Not usual, no.
I think we ought to go find your companions.
Yes.
Friends, yes. It's good to hear. Let's go find Monet and speak to him, if not to Queen Skilpata, down at the sea level.
Okay.
And so he leads you with Elias along with him down to several of the gnomish lifts, and you all descend down many levels. As you come down to about the 75th level above sea level, you see your friends and companions coming out of the restaurant entrance that had been boarded up, and you see them tired and weary, and they don't smell real good. Your barbarian senses, they smell like death, literally rotten meat, dead things. They smell a little crispy, as if they've been around a large bonfire, and you all are able to greet each other there on the restaurant level, looking down over the Sea of Swords and Queen Skilpata, the Living Island. You say anything in greeting? Go ahead and greet each other.
Friends, you stink.
It's good to see you.
You stink. Smell like bad meat. Don't eat there anymore.
It was pretty rough. This is I'm gonna have to take my second bath of the year, and that's it's quite a lot for me.
Second.
What is
Nice.
bath? Oh, bath.
remember-
Yes, I remember.
Yes.
I remember
We had to-
bath. Yes.
Before we met the
Yes.
Majesty.
Yes, first bath.
Hob looks at Honey Robin in despair.
Should try bath again someday.
And so,
Yeah,
go ahead, Izzy.
I had nothing.
Okay, so Talavar and Elias Stringfield are leading you all down to discuss with Monet, the city magistrate, and Queen Skilpata all the events and what you have discovered. And so you make your way down to Monet, and there is Kithilian making his report to the Queen, and you all come up. Monet turns to you and goes, "Well done, you all have survived. Thank you." And what are you going to do or report?
I will come forward and as best I can, kind of turning back to my companions, try to relate what we saw down there and about the meat and bones and how upsetting it all was, and that we unfortunately and that there seemed to be some other things down there, but that we were concerned about going after them at half strength, because of course I turned to Xok, I consider you to be at least half of our strength.
At least.
Yeah, you're quite right. And so we are very concerned about what these cultists might be up to and who they are grinding up into meal to make happen.
And Monet looks at you and goes, "Well, this is very disturbing news. Did you find any evidence of who they were alleged to? Any symbols, any paperwork, anything that could lead us to our next battle?
Well, the
To
paperwork
root out these people."
went flamey, bursty, but I think we did find some symbols?
We have their
These
sigils.
ones.
Yes. Yeah,
I hold one out.
Okay, and so Monet takes it. It's roughly a parallelogon about 3 inches across in each direction. And what you can see is a very well-etched, it looks almost like a centipede across the top of it. But underneath you can see the remnants of an eye with a slash through it. And so Monet turns it over in his hands and says, well, you can see here underneath there is this symbol of a long forgotten god, an eye with a slash through it. Was once a god of the dragons, but of death. But this symbol that has been etched above it, where the old symbol has been defiled and something new has taken its place. I think we are seeing one cult that has been consumed by another. Someone has taken up the old god's quest for ruination of the living.
This is of a much larger scale than previously thought, I imagine.
I believe you all brought me a similar, although more primitive, example when you all were first rescued down in the sewers of the city of Karisk. Is that true? You all had a similar such token or example.
Yes, that's right. We didn't get to know the cultists down there very long, but it does seem to be of a similar type.
Did you remember the cultists? Did they mention the name? Did they say anything? A name would be of great help to us.
Did we hear a name? Sorry. Or would you like me to do a roll to remember? Or
yeah, do a roll to remember.
all right.
See if you remember.
You want me to do just straight intelligence or?
Yeah.
That is
straight
a
intelligence.
14 intelligence.
Okay. So there were a couple of names that you were thinking you had heard. The one most recently was the... all right, give me a second. I've got a lot of names to go through.
I know that Reggie McDougal's main contribution was unearthing the name Danath Cool.
Yes. All right, so Danath Cool is... you remember Danath Cool is associated with the dead god, some sort of servant or some sort of something that is undead. But reaching back in your mind while you were in the sewer, you seem to recall the cult leader saying the name Bakrug, the name of Bakrug, B-O-K-R-U-G.
Can I,
Honey Robin?
Can I make a religion check to? Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Make a religion check.
I've got a -1, and that's an 8.
Yeah, you've never heard of Bakrug before out of this context. Honey Robin, you heard the name several times while you were with the cult as their guest, but it was never mentioned to you directly. So you can fill in Monet on that.
Oh, I've heard that name. It was never said to me, but they talked about that name quite a little bit down there when I was there, staying there. But they never really shared that with me, what it was for, what it was about, or who it was.
Well, we have names to start with, and so I think you will have to fly to the City of Libraries, there to speak to the great brass dragon, the librarian of cities. They will be able to give you information. They know the names. They know places. They know all the history. So we will have you fly immediately to the City of Libraries and ask the great librarian if they have the information that you need.
Well, this sounds like fun.
You will need to make plans to get provisions for your trip and for seeking out anything that would threaten the 10 realms. And here are the way to communicate. And he hands you 6 small brown envelopes with a golden seal on each one of them. And he says, "These are messengers. Break the seal and speak your message, and one will fly to us, and then you can send another to the great city of Kirisk Torpolis, so that all will be prepared. But there are 6 of them, so use them wisely, but be prepared for whatever comes your way." And so he directs you to go find any supplies that you might need and head back to the Fancy Guppy, where he is directing people to tell the captain to be prepared to take off.
Gotcha.
Well, I'm all for everyone. We need supplies, but when we were first outfitted, they were very kind to show us various things. And unfortunately, at the time, the only thing I was able to find were quarterstaffs that were iron shod, and so that doesn't really work for me and my druidness. So I did want to see if I could find a place that had any enchanted quarterstaffs.
And Mogonay goes, "Yes, you should be able to find a spot about on the magic level, that is on the 51st level on your way up to the airfields. There, along all the promenade, is many magic shops that have enchanted items that should suit your needs."
I'd be interested in going with you for that.
Absolutely. Road trip, or shopping trip. Montage! Oh, it doesn't work that way.
Shopping trip montage. Let's go to it.
Is anybody else got things they need other than just restocking our rations and all that good stuff?
They
Go on.
they give us things. They give us things.
Well, in exchange for these here coins that we've gotten a few of.
Oh, I have I think maybe 10, no more than 10 coin. I don't know what they're for. I guess to buy things.
Yes, like I know how you're rather attached to your axe there, right?
Yeah, they gave me axe. It's good axe.
It's a mighty fine axe. But like if Robin, if you need some new darts, or maybe some nice new ribbons or some such, see, we can get those with these here coins that we found. I literally have no idea how much money we have.
I think I wrote down money. I appear to have 15 platinum.
Yes, I know we received platinum at one point, but in my infinite wisdom, forgot to write it down.
Yeah, we each got 15 platinum,
15 each.
and I had my 10 starter gold, and that's all I've got.
I think Hob's two major goals is, one, of course, is that they want to see if their poor homunculus servant has been completely annihilated, and also wants to upturn those bags of holding.
Oh yes, that's right. I forgot. We didn't want to do it, and it'd be like turning out your pockets inside a privy.
Goodie
In there.
bags.
Yes. Let's all get together and give them a little shake. See what happens.
Money bags, bag of money.
Maybe. I've got a suggestion though. Let's do them one at a time, just in case some. Just like I know you know more about this, Hob, but sometimes there's like little nasty things that don't need to breathe. Shall we say?
Yes, I've heard horrible tales of things with spindly legs coming out of them.
Met Genasi once. He hold his breath long time. Very long time. Wanna bet.
That would do it. Should we maybe get some guards or something?
Oh, we can handle it.
Oh, we can take care of it.
Yeah.
That's true. I have most of my
squishing.
spell slots.
I tell you what, I'll go first, because I've already been putting my quarterstaff in and out of it, and I'm just going to. I think that's how it works. I turn it upside down and I concentrate, and I just go everything, and they just go yeah, and I want to see what happens.
You basically turn it inside out.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
And first to fall out is about a pile of gold pieces, a very large pile of gold pieces,
Nice.
and a nice sapphire, and then there is a wand, a tent, bedclothes, regular clothes, cloaks, a little statue of, it looks almost like a centipede. It's about 6 inches long, but it not quite a centipede. You've never seen anything quite like it. It has almost a scorpion tail on it, and the head is the wrong shape, but there's not a lot of detail. It looks like it's made out of blown glass.
I should spend the evening investigating this.
I think that's a great idea.
And I suppose we should fairly distribute the gold.
Other bag? 2 other bags?
Yes.
Let's keep going. Let's keep going. This is like
2 bags.
this is like solstice.
Okay, and when you turn out the other bag, it has about 37 gold pieces, much less, and a lot of magic components. There's ash, there's little vials of, looks like body parts and seeds, insect body parts, lizard body parts, seeds, herbs. This looks like it. If you sold it at a magic shop, it would probably get you another 200 gold pieces worth of supplies. And then there's paper for writing, ink. It's high quality paper, but it's all blank. There's ink, there's quills, there's a small writing stand that falls out and goes thunk on the ground. It's made of wood, and it has a little felt top that you could probably sell for about 25 gold pieces.
Would you say that's scroll writing quality paper?
It is definitely scroll writing quality paper. It is wizard level quality paper.
I see.
So all the supplies you can sell, and the little writing desks are probably about 225 to 300 gold pieces. And if you took the time to count the gold pieces out of the other bag, it'd be about 500 gold pieces.
Whew.
All together?
Altogether, no. And from the first bag, it's about 500 gold pieces. From the second bag was 37 gold pieces. From the first bag, there was a sapphire. It's fairly nice. It's worth about 150 gold pieces. And there was a wand that fell out as well.
Hob's taking the wand.
Please do.
Got big plans for this.
I'm not very familiar with those, to be honest. But maybe we could try and sell the sapphire while we are. And do you need it for anything, Hob? As far as like,
Well, that
I don't
depends
know.
on if Tintin is dead or not.
Well, why don't you hold on to it just in case?
How long does it take you to call Tintin?
I have. Let's see. Let's see if the stat block says anything about how far I can control him from. It does say that I can use him to. He has to be within 120 feet of me to channel my spells through him. So let's see if I should assume.
Well, roll me an Arcana check.
Okay. That is. Let's see. 21.
You can feel your connection with Tintin, and you could call him back. It might take a while.
I call out into the ether, not out loud, but I am putting my hands up in the air and like shaking my fists, and everyone's like, what the heck is this guy doing?
And so, you all are standing there. Monet is off to the side. They're waiting for you to go about your business as you've done things. Monet is speaking with Queen Skilpata. You can feel the waves of magic coming off of Queen Skilpata as they converse. And you can feel Tintin coming towards you. But it is going to be quite a bit. And you would have to go up several levels, of course, to the restaurant level to find him.
Mm-hmm. Well, good thing we're going out for the evening.
Well, I'm glad he's not dead.
I am as well, yes. Starting to like the thing. It's like a dog that my blasted ex-wife would never let me have.
What was her name?
Gretchen.
Oh, Gretchen. Yes, I know her well.
Hob raises an eyebrow.
I'm joking. I've barely left my woods in the last century or so. But let's go ahead and go on our little shopping trip. Everybody, come on. Do we need to roll or anything to find what we're looking for, or is there sufficient places?
You're going to be escorted up to the 50th level. Monet seems to be indicating that he's going to come along with you, and because they're in a hurry for you to get to the Fancy Guppy, so they don't want you necessarily wasting a lot of time searching for things, so he's going to come along to guide you. And so as you go up to the 50th level, all these magic shops are spread out for the 2 miles of the cliff along this carved walkway. And you see magic shop after magic shop, all sorts. Some for health purposes, some for enchantment, so all sorts of magical creatures and potions and spell components, curios and wonders galore. You're about a mile away from the Taurus Arcanum, which was Grissom Gnarl's shop that was attacked.
Well, I just want to first check and see if they've got any places that specialize in magic weapons, and especially if they got any sticks.
And you are Monet says, "Come this way. I know of a good shop that does enchantments on various items." And so he leads you. It takes you about 20 minutes to walk down this promenade to find a small shop, and inside is a lizard man dressed in, basically it looks like a monk's robe. It's burlap. It has a wide leather belt. This lizard man, from what you can tell, is fairly old. The skin is very leathery. The eyes are kind of milky, not completely cataract over, but you wonder how much he can actually see. But as you look in the shop, you see various items on the wall, including weapons and armor, magic wands, and all sorts of other paraphernalia that adventurers might find useful.
I'm going to come right in and go, first I would turn to Hob and be like, is this like what your store was like?
I'd say mine was more specialized in magic items, but yes, good day, sir. Hail and well met. It's been quite some time since I've had the good fortune to step into a shop.
Hob is interested in just sort of chatting away, probably chewing this dude's ear off.
And so Monet steps forward and smiles at you and gently puts his staff in front of you and goes, "Greetings, enchanter." And the lizard man cocks his head and looks up and goes, "Ah, magistrate, I am humbled to have you in my shop once more." what may I do for you and the queen? And Monet turns around and goes, these are going to be servants of both Kiris Torpolis and Jormungand, and we would like you to help them out in any way that you can, and you will be fairly compensated. And he turns to the group and says, this is Grek the Enchanter, one of the greatest enchanters in all of Jormungand.
And he's an elderly lizard folk?
Yes.
I am humbled to make your acquaintance. I am only beginning my journey in enchanting magical items myself. I would be deeply humbled to see your work.
Ah, yes. Come in, come in. I am always glad to help those stalwart enough to put their lives on the line. And so what may I do for you, my little artificer friend?
Hob, they're, looking back and forth, hand gesturing wildly, ee! So excited. They don't even know what to say.
Well, I suppose I'm in the market for a wand. I've just found this one, but if you have any ideas upon how to improve it, or if you yourself have anything of a higher stock than this hand-me-down, I would be quite interested to see.
Of course. Let me see what you have found.
I hand it to him.
And he peers at it. Wands often cannot be improved. They are set in their form once they are made, unless something unexpected happens to them. This wand, it's a short wand. It's about 8 inches long. It's made out of birch wood. It is white with black streaks in it. And he says, this is a wand of frost. It casts a cone of cold, much like dragon breath. So it for your knowledge, it casts a cone of cold. It can do that 4 times a day.
Dang.
Yeah.
Hob needs to start getting some ice-themed accessories.
But at the end of the day, when you're rolling to recharge, on a roll of 1, it loses a charge permanently.
Ooh, her.
I'm going to bring my quarterstaff, pull it out of my new bag of holding. I'm having so much fun with that, and say, grandfather, your skill and knowledge is clear that they brought us to your shop. I would like to enhance my quarterstaff if I could, to make it more effective in combat. Also, my knowledge of the Feywild and magics know that if a weapon is not enchanted, some creatures are completely immune to them.
Ah, yes. And he reverently takes the staff from you and runs his hands over it. You can tell that he's kind of twisting his head in that animal-like way. He's looking with his peripheral vision. You can tell that the degeneration of his eyes interferes a little bit, but not a lot, as he's looking down. And he goes, what type of enchantment would you like?
Well,
what do you think would be most useful? What would fit with your being?
Oh, well, my particular area of expertise is the Feywild and the creatures that lie therein. But I was so anything to do with animals and the creatures of the nature would be very helpful. But you've already gone beyond. I was just hoping to make it magical in nature. But if you have any suggestions for that, I'm all ears.
Well, you have your usual enchantments. fire or lightning or cold or thunder. Radiant damage can be used if you are fighting foul fiends, or necrotic damage if that would be your touch and your will to undo life.
There is definitely lots of nasty things that we've been facing. So if there is a radiant option on there, I think that's a good way to go.
Yes. We shall indeed have this do wonderful damage to those foul beings that would stand against you. And so he takes it, and surprisingly, he stands up very quickly and goes around the table he was sitting in front of and sets it upon two small stands so it is laid out in front of you, and reaches under his work desk and pulls out a small bag that he pours out something. It looks almost like glitter, and spreads it across the top of the staff and says, "This is the crushed scale from, some might say, a platinum dragon.
Blimey.
That this is a holy blessing, and we will infuse it with your staff. It will be from, one would say, a platinum god. But some might say that is just myth, for we have great leaders in Queen Skilpata and Amal Marduk, the king. So we have had great magic users here that are very powerful. So we have this scale, and we have the magic to infuse it. Come here. Place your hand on the middle of this staff, and we will begin the enchantment."
Oh, I am so there, and I adjust my little wooden horns, and I kind of shake my hands, and this is I've never experienced anything like this before, or not in a very long time.
And so you walk forward, and you place your hand on the staff, and you see the sprinkled dust, this glittery dust, and you can feel it almost like sharp pieces of gravel under your palm. And Grek the Enchanter grabs your hand and squeezes tightly and starts chanting. And you start to feel pressure and pain in your hand, like needles piercing your skin. And these milky white eyes stare at you as he reaches a crescendo and squeezes your hand so tight you feel needles pierce through and blood come out onto your staff.
I'm entirely unexpecting this, and you see I'll see the shock on my face as I'm like, what? You know.
And you as you try and pull away a little bit, you feel this iron grip of this very old lizard man, surprisingly strong, does not let you move. And in the words of magic, continues this enchantment and rises to a crescendo. There's a pop, a little electric bolt goes through you, and he lets go of your hand and says, "It is done." And you pull your hand away without the staff, and there is no damage, but where this silver glittery dragon scale had been spread across your staff, you now see a little bit of it tinged with red right where your hand was. Almost as if a reflection of the light from the room, from all the lanterns in the room, and it glows. But other than that, your staff looks normal. And he picks it up and he reverently hands it to you and says, "This will serve. And so you now have a magic staff +1 that does an additional 1d6 radiant damage.
Wow.
Ooh.
Wow.
In Elvish, which I rarely use these days, I haven't lived with my people in many, many years. I will bow to him and say, "Grandfather, I thank you," which was the traditional thing to say during in a very sacred ceremony, and reverently hold my upgraded stick and back up and turn. So like, anybody else? I can't beat that.
Xok turns to Willowand with surprise in his eyes, and he says, in Elvish, "Oh, you speak Elvish? I speak very good Elvish."
Boy, that's really good.
My common is terrible, but I speak very good Elvish.
I am just utterly flabbergasted because I've been used to your broken sentences this whole time. I just responded. My Elvis is like a little worse than yours because I haven't used it in so long in like a century.
Your Elvis? My Elvis is terrible.
There's actually what all Elvis sounds like. Speak, friend, and enter.
Oh, that's canon for sure. Very good to meet you. I'm glad to speak Elvish with you.
Very good, very good. Good to see you. Hello, well met, friend. Anyway, sorry. New Chafing Armor cannon. Wonderful.
It's been a while since we've had something on par with orc jazz hands.
Exactly.
And Monet and Greg goes, "Do any of the rest of you need a blessing of the magic of Queen Skilpata? Do you need anything else here?"
You have thing make hit harder. Me hit harder. Make things go down quicker.
What is your weapon?
I have this, and he holds up his silver axe. It's just already a +1 axe.
Yeah. We can see if we can enchant it. And he hands it to Greg. He takes it from you and hands it to Greg. And Greg goes, "Ah, yes. Silvered master craftsman.
Good axe."
It is. It is from the king's own palace, I take it.
Yes.
We will see. And since it has already been blessed with that magic, the only magic I would be able to add to it would be the touch of fire.
Ooh, fire. Good. Fire,
And
big
so
thing burn.
It will increase the damage, yes. It will cause fire damage.
Ooh.
And so he takes it and puts it across the same stands and reaches under and pulls out another vial. And this looks like it has crushed red glitter in it, and sprinkles it over your axe and tells you to come forward and place one hand on the axe head and one hand on the shaft of the axe.
Yeah, he slaps his hand on the blade and makes a tight grip on where the glitter is on the handle.
And he immediately puts his hands on top of yours and begins enchanting just the same. And you feel the similar situation. You feel something piercing your skin, and you also feel heat. You start to feel this heat up under your hands.
My skin starts to turn red.
Yeah, you start to show it from inside out. And Greg performs the enchantment and rises to a crescendo, and you feel it get very hot under your hands all of a sudden, almost like they're seared. And then he lets go of you, and you pull your hands off, and they are fine. But there is a soft red reflection, almost in the shape of your hand, on the broadaxe head and on the shaft. And so it now does an additional 1d6 fire damage.
Pretty. It's good.
And
Honey Robin, you get up all in here.
Yes.
I know. Oh, so I see. Hold on. Wow. I don't don't know what that is.
You were
I
trying
see
to do
that.
Elvish.
Channel your inner yeehaw.
Yeah. I see that you gave that one fire and that one the bright sunny stuff, and Hob gets a little chilly now. I have my net, and see, back when I was in the on the boats and everything, they used to have these little zappy magic items that would zap the bugs. I'm thinking I could do that on a large scale. Could you take my net and make it electric and like shocky and lightning type? So that way when I trap them under, it kind of zaps them, kind of like a bug. I'm thinking that would work great in battle.
And so Greg looks at you and sits back, and he looks you up and down because he has never actually seen a plasmoid before. And so he says, well, I guess I could see about that.
Or if you have any other ideas. That was not meant to be imposing. I was just really excited watching all that magic that just happened just now. But if you have any ideas, I am completely open, all ears. And she makes a bunch of ears appear in her body as she said that, to really hammer down the point. I'm all ears.
And so
Xok
everybody
imitates
else
her.
in the room is unnerved but Greg, because his eyesight is so poor he doesn't really see that. But Monet is a little, you see, he pulls his neck out of his shell a little away from you. Just, that is a little weird. But Greg goes, let me see your net.
She hands it over.
I can't wait for them to see that drawing.
I imagine there are
Elfish.
about 8,000 drawings of the pun Elfish, which is really good.
There are. That was just a good one.
Which makes me so happy.
That makes me happy too. All right, so Greg takes the net and lays it out in one long strand. He runs his hand over it so it's bound together, and he sits back and contemplates for a moment. And then he reaches under and pulls out what looks like a small globe with water and a fish inside. And he reaches in and grabs the fish by the tail. It's a small open fish bowl. And he lays it on top of the net and waves his hand across it. And the fish begins to grow and change. And it becomes more eel-like. And it spreads out until it is the length of the net. And it looks like this is an electric eel. And it's wiggling there, and you can feel the static charge coming off of it. And he reaches under the counter and pulls out a very large knife and stabs it down into the eel. And you hear this static electric pop. And you see him jump. And he calls to you and says, come, put your hand on top of mine.
She does so.
And you feel immediately this static electric charge going through you. It is uncomfortable. It is making all of your plasmoid skin feel very prickly, almost like it's being peeled off. And he begins enchanting as this knife is there, penetrated through this eel that is flopping around and bleeding all over your net, and finally finishes the incantation, pulls the knife out. The eel disappears, and the little fish appears back in the fishbowl.
The fish shifter.
It's like that childhood fish game, like the fish card on the pouch creatures. Is that what it was called? Where you had all the little cards and the little creatures? Pouch creatures. That's like one of them characters right there. Mm-hmm.
And he smiles at you and shakes his head as if there's a generation gap, and he does not know what you're talking about. And says, "Here, this will serve you. It will not necessarily do damage, but it will enhance the chance to bind whatever you have wrapped it up in. And so you now have a net of stunning, and so you will get to roll for the chance. Not only will the creature be grappled, but if you successfully grapple, it will be stunned for a round.
Hob does also want to buy, like, a rod, like, that can channel other spells besides a Cone of Cold.
A rod or a magic wand?
A thing that... A stick shorter than their forearm that makes that you can channel spell through. Because before now...
focus.
Before now, their focus was just their Tinker's tools, which is typically what Artificers often do. But because they've had this revelation, seeing the scorching ray being cast by this evil wizard made them sort of realize that they could be using they could be improving their destructive potential, but that they need a wand or a rod or a staff to do it, and they want to keep it light, so not a staff.
An arcane spell focus of some sort.
Yeah, to go along with the arcane firearm ability of the artillerist artificer at level 5.
Okay. And so Greg leads you over to the wall and shows you there are all sorts of arcane foci. There's a little pewter skull. There's metallic rods of various sorts, copper and gold and silver and other exotic metals, between 6 inches and 2 feet long. Some look rather flimsy, some look very resilient. And he turns to you and says, "Do you see anything that you like, that appeals to your focus and your needs?"
They pick up a couple of the metal rods, and finally one that has like a good heft to it. It's bronze, a little round dealy at either end, kind of like a almost like a baton. And that's the one that they say, this weight feels right.
Okay, and so he takes it and holds it out to you, and as you both are gripping it, a small electric shock goes through you, and when you pull your hand away, you see your name etched into the brass rod, and he turns to you. "Each of you have received this gift, the blessing of Queen Skilpata. These items are for you and for you alone, and they will not work for anyone else ever again."
See.
Wow.
So basically they're account bound and you can't get rid of them.
Oh man, I can't mail this to my other tunes.
Alright, and so Greg goes, "Now, I have expended my magic for the day. Great Monet, thank you for bringing them. I'm sure that we will be settled in the usual way. Have a good day." And he ushers you all out and turns and heads to the back of his magic shop.
He was an elderly lizard folk, right?
Yes.
Gotcha. Well, I think we can pick up the rest of the equipment real quick. And are we heading off today or first light? What is the?
It's evening, but Monet seems to be intent on getting you to the ship and getting the ship on the way.
Well, let's run and get the rest of these supplies and get going, because we can sleep on the ship as it heads over.
All right, so you all go and get any other specific supplies you need, or they're just camping supplies?
Camping supplies sounds about right.
Yes, just
anything else?
Just some simple. I want to make sure that I've got some fresh rope. My rope was kind of gamey, good, nice hempen rope. And just making sure that I've got plenty of things to help me connect to the Wild Mother. Just a few herbs and such.
Okay. And so, anything specific or just in general?
Well, he's going to see if there's any herbs that have been collected from the Feywild, and if so, he's going to purchase those.
Okay, so Monet, on your way to the lift, there's another shop that has all sorts of spell components. Many from the Feywild, many from other realms. You see vials from the realms of both ice and fire, from places that you've never even heard of. There are dark sparkling powders and glorious dragon scales bound in silks, all sorts of magic elixirs and components available for whatever you need for the right price.
Is this a certain component shop?
No, this is a different one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, your Grissom Gnarls dealt in very rare items.
Right.
This is more of a general magic shop for wizards and warlocks and sorcerers and bards. This is like the Walmart. They have most everything. They don't have the most exotic things, but they have a lot of stuff that you've never seen before because they have so much. And so you're able to get whatever you want, fill up, prepare for whatever spells that you have set aside, and then Monet escorts you up to the top of the cliff, to the landing fields, and over to the Fancy Guppy. You see guards everywhere. You see new guard tents set up around where they have increased the protection of all the airships. All the airships that had taken off when the trouble started are now landed as far as the eye can see. And you get to the Fancy Guppy and they escort you aboard. And Monet begins speaking with the captain and Captain Krerex is immediately calling for his crew to get up and get ready to fly. Anything you want to do before we take off?
All good.
All good for me.
All right.
Xok says really quickly, say, does anybody else speak Elvish?
Wait, I am a half-elf. Let's see here.
You probably speak Elvish.
That's right, Grandpa. Grandpa, do you know how to speak Elvish? I didn't know if you were raised among your own people or not.
Well, I was raised in by the human people, but I get around. It's important to speak all the languages of my class.
And Monet looks at you and speaks in Elvish. We of the cultured world know how to speak many languages, but it would be best if you were not fooling around and get on your way. And with that, he turns around with a little click of his staff and walks down the gangplank, and Captain Krerex signals the first mate, and the gangplank is lifted up. The magic wings are put out, and the magic sails are put out to the sides of the Fancy Guppy, and it rises gently but quickly into the air and soars out over the plain. And that's where we'll end this episode of the Chafing Armor podcast.
Woo!
You can
thank
tell
you all for playing
he
tonight.
learned Elvish from
right.
class, not from Elvish.
We learn Elvish. I'll have to come up with a Memphis city or something like that. Maybe I'll change the name of the next city to something more Tennessean.
Are you ready? Are you ready? 'Cause I'm walking to Mordor.
Oh no.
Oh, wow. Wow. And on that note, rock falls and everybody dies.
Yes.
No. Thank you all for playing tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening.
Thanks for not killing
And-
us.
You can find us on your favorite podcatchers, Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and wherever you like to download your podcasts. You can find us on YouTube with all of Michael's great cosplay. We have so much content for you that you can find us at chafingarmorpodcast.com and at patreon.com/chafingarmor, where we have lots of extra content for you. We'd love for you to come join us so that we can continue to keep this podcast free and give you so many realms and stories to fill your dreams. And on that note, everybody say good night.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Nut.
Elvish has left the building.